Okay, everyone. Welcome to another, live stream. So, as you can see in the title, we're definitely going to be doing Republican hypocrisy. I've been waiting to do this one. Go ahead and show that conservative hypocrisy. There you go. So, we're going to definitely be talking about the news of the day. I have my love fiance here, but she's sleeping right now, right next to me. So, if she wakes up and wants to join in as usual, she can. But hey, you know, to each their own. But we're going to, of course, talk about some of the things that have been going on as of late with conservatives and Republicans. Yes, I am going to get into the breaking news. Time to celebrate. You know, go ahead and have fact. I'm going to actually make sure to get that as well. You know, nope, not yet. Not yet. But make sure to get that right there for you guys. But anyway, I want to make sure to do that. I want to talk about the breaking news and a lot more things, like the things dealing with guns and the gun debate and others. So, if you've been paying attention to my podcast, which I do have it linked into the YouTube channel, you can go ahead and click on it. Not so common sense is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Just click on it right there in the link in our YouTube page, and it'll work pretty good. So yeah. Anyway, other than that, we are going to get into some of the topics. So yeah, yes, me and my fiance are going to do the you know final predictions come tomorrow. Try to lock those things down. If not tomorrow, definitely on Saturday itself, but definitely before the event with WrestleMania. So wrestling fans out there, like we are, we're going to do the you know we're going to go ahead and do the whole predictions. We already have our predictions available on the ANC Talk Wrestling podcast, which is also available in our YouTube page. So go ahead and listen out for that. Where we went over our first initial picks, and now we're going to, you know, lock them in. You know, no more games at the either today or tomorrow or Saturday. We'll be locked in, and you may either go back, hit that record button, say, "Ha, you're wrong." If you're wrong, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? So we're going to start with the breaking news. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Indeed, we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He's just been indicted. You know, officially been indicted today. You know, if you don't believe me, I have it with me as well. He's just been indicted today. Of course, if you're smart, you understand the reason why. As you can see, yes, I am using TYT, of course, as I normally try to use, because they, you know, normally get the stuff and tell you the truth. I don't want no bullshit, fake ass lie about, witch hunts and, George Soros and, meteorites and the, lunar and solar alignments and things like that. I don't want no crazy ass batshit crazy conspiracies going on. I want the truth. So I normally go to TYT so they can tell me it. So anyway, as you can see, yes, he's been indicted. Let's go ahead and let it play a little bit, shall we?
Donald Trump has reacted to the Manhattan grand jury voting in favor of indicting him in connection to the hush money payments paid to Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2016 election. He is not happy, as you can imagine. And
so the main thing this is all about is right now, this one is about the Stormy Daniels situation. Remember, Donald Trump, good Christian family man who been sent down here to have him sent down here from heaven by Jesus Christ himself because he is the embodiment of Jesus, had an affair with a porn star while Melania, after she got, she was pregnant and gave birth to one of his bastard ass sons, right? He willfully decided to do this on his own fruition, because it is what God ordained him to do, is what conservatives try to say. And then he lied about it. And oh boy, did he. He lied about it. Let's not forget, way, way back during this election, a certain person by the name of Michael Cohen went to jail for this shit. And so, as they tend to do to people like him, they made him sing. And he picked the most beautifulest song he could possibly put. Right? He decided to sing. What did he sing about? Well, he sung a song dealing with Donald Trump. Right? Basically, he said that the former president, because he did say that, he literally said that he had Donald Trump be his co-conspirator, right? He literally said that the person that was his co-conspirator went on to win the election and become president. So what I was saying, Alexa, turn off. Hate those machines, right? So he, of course, went and and said he's a co-conspirator. Said that the person that was his co-conspirator went on to become the president of the United States. So during the election, there was only one person that won the election that went on to become president of the United States. Sadly, that's Donald Trump. So he indicted him in that. He wrapped him up in it. Donald Trump said multiple times that he didn't do it, even though his motherfucking handwriting was on the check that was sent to, Michael Cohen and whatnot for him to go pay Stormy Daniels. And it had a little bit of money extra wrapped in for himself for a little pinch off the side. Correct? So you're like, go ahead and take a cut off the side, and that cut is yours. The rest goes to Stormy Daniels. Right? So that was illegal. You can't cover up something like that. Definitely using campaign funds to do it. That's called fraud. That's how they normally get a lot of these rich people. Because if you do something and you're rich and it does something with money, they don't like it because you're messing with other rich people's money. But yeah, let's let it continue.
And I'm sure this is the first of many statements that he'll have in regard to this case. He writes that the Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession with trying to get Trump But now they've done the unthinkable, indicting a completely innocent person in the act of blatant election interference.
Again, remember, this doesn't have anything to do with the election. This is Stormy Daniels' situation. This has nothing to do with election interference. And of course, he just blatantly lied. I mean, what the fuck do you expect from him to say? He still to this day doesn't believe that he lost, even though he's the one person calling for people to find more and more votes. When you lose and you need to find thousands of votes in order to win by one vote, chances are you got your ass kicked. Go home. That's the point. Republicans and definite individuals in charge, those Tucker Carlsons of the world, those Michael Knowles of the world, those Brandon Tatum of the world, those Candace Owens of the world, those Ben Shapiro's of the world, are afraid of Trump's base because they are the ones that can use guns. Right? They can use guns. They're the ones that are okay with having guns. And it's scary because they're the ones who will take matters in their own hands and try to kill somebody. And so they know Donald Trump can throw one of his, lunatic, cult members right at you to go and do his dirty work. So I know why they're afraid of saying, well, man, give it up. You lost. Go home. But at some point, you got to take matters in your own hands and say, yo, bro, Trump, shut the hell up. You lost. You keep losing. Every one of your, punk ass candidates that you thrown at people lost. John Fetterman is in and out of hospitals, but still somehow found a way to kick, your candidate's ass. The people you had were out of touch. They talk more about owning the libs, but they owned the libs and lost elections. Just like you are. You talk more and more about owning libs and losing the elections. If we keep trying to own the libs, we're going to all be out of a job. Even if we are in these supposedly solidly rich states. Just need to tell a man shut up and go about himself. Be mad enough and say, oh man, shut the hell up. Go. You're trash. You're washed up. You can't do anything. You try to use your usual trick of screaming that you run for president and be immune to all crimes, but they just said, fuck it, we done with you. Go home. Go to jail. You're trash.
What? Okay. Well, by the way, he's facing other criminal investigations having to do with his role in trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Maybe he has the investigations and the trials mixed up, but the one that we're talking about now and the one where the grand jury voted to indict him has to do with the hush money payments, not the 2020 election.
Can you fathom that, by the way? What she is saying. This man has broken so many laws and committed so many crimes that it's hard for him to keep track of all the cases against him. So, yeah, I don't think he's a good candidate for president if you have multiple cases where you could be going to jail with. Let's let it play a little bit more and I can go ahead and get going a little further.
Never before in our nation's history, writes Trump, has this been done. True, he's right about that. The Democrats have cheated countless times over the decades, including spying on my campaign, but weaponizing our justice system to punish a political opponent who just so happens to be a president of the United States. And
just shut up and stop fucking whining. You broke the law. I don't care if you're president. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ. You come down here, you break the law, you gotta pay the penalty. Like they say about people of my skin tone, if you can't do the time, what? Don't do the crime. You've been doing all the crimes, but now it's time for you to start doing the time. And I want him to get arrested. I want him to go to jail. I don't care if he spend a damn night in jail because he's rich. He's not gonna spend years. They don't spend years. You rich, you don't spend even a damn second in jail. You know, they have a body double in there for you. If that, blow up doll. If you even have a goddamn cell. Because he's rich. He's not going to jail in the first place. He's going to be arraigned. He's going to be arrested. And then they're going to let him go. Same time period. Get the stunt over with. Yeah, all right, got the pictures, got your fingerprints, got your mugshot. Go ahead and go home, Donald. Right there. Middle of the street. Do all of it. Get the mugshots and everything else. Get the pageantry done with. And let him go about his way. This is the United States. Rich people don't go to jail. There's not a rich person in jail, period. Seriously. None of them. All the jails are filled up by poor people. Because it's meant for slavery. Play a little bit more.
And by far the leading Republican candidate for president has never happened before, ever. And then he has a statement in regard to the district attorney, Alvin Bragg. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, he writes, who was handpicked and funded by George Soros, is a disgrace.
Well, I just like how they talk about George Soros, but again, like I said in my podcast, all the money is with conservatives. So stop fucking playing around. Jewish people don't have money. It's a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. Like if I wish this podcast can take off a lot more. That's why I'm doing the videos so some people can see them. I'll keep doing more and more and more and more and more. You know, just so it can get a good library built up and people can see my face more. And I'll keep saying the same tune. I want to be out there. I want to debate people. I want to. I'll debate them. It's not the Jews. People keep thinking the Jews run the world. No, it's conservatives. Conservatives run the world. Conservatives have all the money. Just think about it. I think it was Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon literally told a bunch of conservative people, give me billions of dollars. I will lie to you and say I'm going to build the wall. I am not even going to come close to the southern fucking border. The closest thing I'm going to come to the southern border is with my yacht. I'm going to use your money to go buy. So I want a new yacht. Give me money so I can buy a new yacht. And they flooded them. Donald Trump comes up with toilet paper with his shit stains on it and say, hey, anybody want this? I call it an NFT. You know, a nasty tasting fucking turd, right? Go right ahead. Y'all can spend $500 on it per piece of paper that I wipe my ass with. And they go and buy it. Hook, line, and sinker. Sold out instantaneously. I wonder why. Because they are a cult and see Trump as God. Now the Republican Party is trying to quietly push past him so they can ease in Ron DeSantis. Some conservatives are buying in on it. And some, a person that runs the black conservative perspective, he loves Ron DeSantis, even though he's literally the type of individual that they're supposed to be against. But again, they're not against individuals. They're liars. They don't have morals. They don't have standards of any type of belief system. They change their beliefs and ideology as they change their nasty ass clothes. Whenever it's convenient for them, they change them. And just like that, they finally come up with people to support. Oh, Ron DeSantis is literally a, swamp creature, as we would call him. Yeah, but we go behind him and stick with him because we need somebody who's better than Trump because he can win. Even though, real truthfully, he's going to lose. Yeah. Go and find that as well, by the way, on YouTube. I want to show you guys that. Yep. Just so I can show you guys that because a little certain happened. Yep. Yeah, no, don't you even dare. So I'm going to show you guys this real quick because I'm done with Donald Trump. There you go. Done with Donald Trump's ass anyway. But like I said, because they think that he'll win, we already know about Ron DeSantis banning African American studies. But they can say, well, it has some, transies and, it mentions the word gay one time in the class, just in passing, so he got the right to ban it. Well, here we go. If you think that is only because of the fact that, if you ever think that is only because of the fact that, it's other things, not the fact that he's a racist bigot. Yeah, he's a racist bigot. Right, he's a racist bigot. Let's let it play.
Okay. A bill would prohibit black fraternity. They're at it again. Okay. A bill would prohibit black fraternities and sororities. Okay. This has to be unpacked, okay? Because I see a Q dog over there, an alpha over there, and of course the Kappa men who are standing up saying, excuse me, AKs too, deltas, won't leave anybody out. But this is what is going on in Florida. How much is too much? Recently, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, very vocal about his visions. Is he really a visionary? Is that what we're doing? His visions for higher education in the Sunshine State. I don't know if we can go vacation there anymore. I don't want to hurt the good people of Florida. There's some down there, But this is what your governor's doing. Who elected him? Okay. And that other guy lives down there too. But we'll stick with Ron DeSantis. The proposal of the controversial House Bill 999 didn't Herman Cain. Okay, I don't want to get into that. I can't help it, okay?
Yeah.
It's the end of the week. Where my mind, it just starts going in many different directions. But I do remember that, 999, correct me if I'm wrong. The 999 House bill could make his vision a reality. The bill aims to restrict the programs and activities in Florida's universities and colleges that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. Weren't?
Well, I'll tell you, they want to get rid of anything that deals with black. And look who's the person doing it. Doesn't he look like a slave master? I mean, for real. A slave master. So you think Ron DeSantis stands a ghost of a chance against a Joe Biden? No. You think Ron DeSantis stands a ghost of a chance against a Bernie Sanders? No. Anybody. A fucking dog turd, if you will. No. He doesn't stand a chance. He doesn't stand a ghost of a chance. Sorry to say it. That's why secretly they trying to look for somebody that's not Ron DeSantis either, as well. Because they're like, damn, bro, you banned African American studies, and now you're banning black fraternities and sororities. You're going too close to banning all blacks, specifically because they're black. Go back to the rainbow colored people, you know, those gays, those lesbians, those transgenders. Stay with them. That's what wins for us right now. Stop going towards those black people, because we know that black people, they wind up getting hip to the game and knowing that you're, you know, a bigot and a racist. They ain't gonna stand for that shit. They ain't gonna vote for you. They barely vote Republican anyway. You don't want to give actual Republican blacks the ability to say, well, hey, because it only take for you not to go against Joe Biden, for somebody to go into Florida and talk to those same black conservatives and say, all right, which one of y'all part of those fraternities? Oh, yeah, actually you're not. Thanks to Ron DeSantis. He blocked that and prohibited that from happening. So now your sorority participation is over. You're no longer a part of that fraternity. So, you know, don't do them steps and things like that for those fraternities, secret handshakes and stuff like that. You're not a part of that. From Florida, he banned it. They don't even teach African American studies. He banned it. He's ripping off the band-aids, taking off the mask, no longer hiding the fact that they're racist. They're openly being racist. Now, look at him smiling as he takes away black people's rights. You see? See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? That's why the main thing is hypocrisy. That's why I keep harping on that. The hypocrisy of it all. They're lying. They're fake. Right? Now, start going more and more around. I'm getting to the big issue soon, but you know I'm going to talk about that. Not yet. Who remember this? This is from the Daily Wire. Take that off. Who remembers this from the Daily Wire? I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to let the thing play.
Day is upon us again, and I love an international woman.
So you can hear the whole thing.
International Women's Day is upon us again, and I love an international woman. But our friends over at Hershey's, they don't even know what a woman is. They've hired a biological male to be the spokesperson for their Women's Day campaign, and they're calling that campaign, and I swear I'm not making this up, Her-She. Her-She.
Yeah. I mean, the joke is kind of lame. He does have the right to joke on him on that. That ain't a lie. I said it beforehand, say it again. That joke was kind of lame. Like, why would you go with her, she? And you know, about, you know, what's the name? Yeah. Okay, but that's over with. Let's go ahead and finish the bullshit.
It's humiliating. And it's the reason that I'm launching Jeremy's chocolate. We have two kinds. She, her, and he, him. One of them's got nuts. If you need me to tell you which one it is, keep giving your money to Hershey's.
So, now, This is where I have to end it. With that, and you don't need to see anything else. Now, the candy bar is $8. Not the Hershey candy bar, but his. $8. You can buy them in packs or you can buy them singly. His big packs are of, I think, 24. That's about $100. Now, right before your eyes, I actually have the crazy Hershey candy. Yeah, this is what he's flipping out about. Now, since Jeremy wants to make it seem as if candy has sexual orientation and gender, I'm believing, because he did say one has nuts and one doesn't. If I have to tell you which one doesn't, keep giving your money to Hershey. So he does mean that the candy that for the males have nuts in them. So they, because of the whole sexual orientation of the candy, it comes in two colors. By the way, I have both of them, you know, in pink because, real truthfully, just like with gender, both colors doesn't fucking matter. That's why the she is the one covered in blue or pink because this used to be for girls back in the day, while this was for men back in the day, way back. But yeah, I've seen Property Brothers wear colors like this and this, and they both are definitely men. But let's take a look, shall we? Since this is so devastatingly painful and evil, and diabolical, and satanic, satanic that you rather spend $100 instead of $1. Let's go ahead and let's peel open this thing and see what it says in the inside. See what's on there. Will I get demonetized? Or not even monetized in the fucking first place. Will it be a pussy? Will it be a transgender hole? What is it? This is what both of them look like. Damn regular candy bar. $2 candy bar. No, not $2. $1 candy bar. A $1 candy bar. $1. They flipping out for that. And his will probably look like this in the back. About 8 off of it. Probably look solid like a solid candy bar. So who cares? Who the fuck cares? Conservatives are worried about gender and thinking that the left lost his mind. Who is thinking about candy having gender? They do. But see, her can't have nuts in it. Why? It's a candy bar. It's not a person. It's not a living creature. It's fucking candy. It's fucking candy. Now, maybe Jeremy's candy may come in the form of a pussy or a dick. The man one comes in the form of a dick and the woman comes in the form of a pussy because dads had to have sexual connections to it. Right? To differentiate between one's a man and one's a woman. Right? Well, this one, you can be a man, you can be a woman, you can be a girl, you can be a boy, you can be whatever the fuck you want. Just eat the motherfucker. You see it? Candy, chocolate. 936. Here's a Hershey candy. That conservative something out about. Pretty damn good for a damn dollar. Pretty damn good for a dollar. Jeremy says this is about as good, but cost you about $100. So what you want? $100 for a fucking piece of candy, or $1? She's over there consuming $1 worth of candy, like I did. $1. Don't worry. There we go. Get a little bit more towards me. So, you're starting to see the hypocrisy. That's what I'm trying to show. You start to see it more and more and more and more and more, right? He's making a couple $100,000 off of that candy. Because, of course, conservatives are being stupid and feeding into it. They get throwing money because they got endless amount of money, endless amount of time, because they don't work. Conservatives don't work. It's not a conservative person actually physically working. They don't do real labor. They don't really do real work. Most conservatives are pretty much retired already since the time they get born because they have the ability to have money. Most of them are white, so of course they do. They have years upon years upon years, decades upon decades upon decades, centuries of the ability to create and generate wealth, right? Even your most dirt poor rural area conservative have better outcomes than your typical black person, right? That's why they can endlessly throw money at Donald Trump and Jeremy and a bunch of these conservative leaders just so they can just own the libs, right? So, speaking of, I want to go ahead and see if I can find that one too. You know, since I had the opportunity, I'm right here. Yep. There you go. There you go. Make sure that you don't get caught up hearing something you're not supposed to. There you go. You know, I have it now because I'm about to start to bring this around to the most important topic of the day, which is, of course, the shooting. Of course, I'm going to talk about it some more. But I want to get this in here because I want to talk about more hypocrisy, right? Here you go.
Living in rural Mississippi are increasingly finding that it's difficult to find a hospital that can meet their needs as more hospitals are shutting down due to Republican lawmakers in that state refusing to expand Medicaid through federal subsidies. Now, under the Affordable Care Act, the federal government provides pretty significant subsidies to expand statewide Medicaid to individuals who live below 138% of the poverty line. Okay, so this started in 2014. A bunch of red states are like, no, we're not going to take the federal money. We're not going to expand our Medicaid services to ensure that everyone has healthcare coverage. Well, that comes at a significant cost. And by the way, what the Affordable Care Act would do was provide 90% of the funding necessary to do the Medicaid expansion. The state would just have to chip in 10%. Right. Now, Mississippi and 9 other states have refused to take advantage of that expansion to help their residents. And it is having a disastrous effect because keep in mind, if you become ill, if you become injured and you need to go to the hospital can't reject you simply because you don't have insurance.
I paused it there perfectly because make sure you understand this. Even if you tried to go at this in a capitalistic approach, it can't be done. Thank you. I had to make sure I screened that in there. It can't be done. This is a client or customer that you have to take. Right? You have to take them. So capitalism works because, real truthfully, you can turn down some customers. Gasoline, very good necessity, but you can turn down people for gasoline, and some people just ride right on by your gas station. You don't have to service them, right? Hospitals are only there for necessities. To take care of a problem you really can't do on your own. Right? That's pretty much why you go to the hospital. No one's going to the hospital just to go and chit chat with somebody. Right? I'm going to step by the hospital, check in, and go chat with the workers. No one's doing that. Right? No one's doing that. You're going to the hospital because you have to be there. If you don't have to be there, you're not going to. Here's the thing. They cannot turn you away. Don't forget, hospitals aren't for-profit businesses. Meaning they're not really selling anything. This is not your local Walmart where you can buy a t-shirt. It's for life-saving measures. Keep your ass alive. That's what hospitals are for. I'll let I keep going, because this is the one that definitely going to want to roll.
So the hospital will provide the care, and since the individual is uninsured and does not have the money to pay for the services, the hospital ends up eating the costs. And that has destroyed the ability for hospitals to stay open in places like rural Mississippi. States that opted against Medicaid expansion or had just recently adopted it accounted for nearly 3/4 of rural hospital closures between 2010 and 2021, according to the American Hospital Association. And it gets even worse. I'll give you some more insane statistics on this in just a moment. Cenk, why don't you jump in?
I haven't seen a Republican politician try to help the average American in any way, shape, or form in 20 years.
I can run up you, bro. I'm 30. And I'll say, I'm 32 years old. I haven't seen a Republican try to help the average person in 30 years. Yep, I'll say it, 30 years. Because they just don't do it. Ever. They don't do it. They just don't. They don't help people. Think about it. I'm seriously, try to think about it. If you're a conservative person out there, just think about it. Outside of your, feelings of owning the libs, what the fuck does Republicans do? I mean, seriously, nothing. They give money to the mega donors, cut taxes for the most richest of all people, try to get rid of all social programs that you are on, and then tell you, go hate on that Blackie over there. Wait, he said he will vote for me. Go hate on that who don't transy over there. Go hate on that young person. He can't even vote yet, so I don't care if he votes me or not. They tell you to go do that. Go over there and hate on somebody. Just get out of my face. They wave you off. Because they don't want to do anything with you. Think about how every time during, and I do mean 100%, every time, 100%, every time during a mass shooting, which I'm going to get into, what happens? They run into the elevator. They running away. Now these, corporate media press people aren't going to say things like something that I would. Because I'm going at you, I would say, before your weak ass get on that elevator, can you try to at least try to make it seem as if you give half-ass about the shooting? So can you at least try to give me your empty ass thoughts and your useless ass prayers so we can get that on record and then you can run? Senator, whatever the fuck, I don't even care who your name is because you're gonna do the same shit. All y'all the same person. Can you give me your empty thoughts and your useless prayers so I can at least get that on record? I need you to say those usual lines you do. All right, thank you for your useless ass prayers and your, fucking empty ass thoughts because you don't really care about the families. Thank you. Yeah, I said it on camera because you really don't. It's not going to change anything. You're not doing anything anyway. Because they don't. They don't do shit. And now they're showing you they really don't care about you.
At a minimum. I haven't seen one proposal where they go, this would help the average American.
Yep.
Okay, this would help them with healthcare or childcare or food or jobs or wages. Nothing. All it is
cultural.
Well, how can we punish the average guy to help our corporate donors?
Yep.
Okay, here, the federal government's giving you 90% of the money. Just take it. Nope. Our philosophy is if it's someone who is working poor or middle class, we should crush them. So are you proud of this? You're a Republican, you're proud of this. Like why? Like the idea is, oh yeah, they're bums. Why are they bums? A lot of them are working poor. A lot of them are middle class. Why are they bums?
They're the people who voted for you.
Yeah,
the people that voted for
tons of them are Republicans who voted for you.
It's Mississippi.
Yeah,
rural Mississippi.
Mississippi is one of the poorest states. It's often in the bottom 2 poorest states.
Yep.
Yet they're monster Republican governors. Like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna score political points by hitting the poor in the face. Congratulations, corporate goon.
Okay, so I'm gonna interject. It's a little bit of a tangent, but do you get what I mean when, if we could just put the insults aside for a second and just have a conversation with voters where they don't feel like they're being judged or talked down to? Do you think the majority of them know that the state has refused, like Republican lawmakers in the state have refused to expand Medicaid and that they're losing their hospitals as a result of that?
No.
Anywhere else in the nation, according to the State Hospital Association.
I decided to move the, don't sound like Jesse Dallimore, but yeah, move the conversation a little bit forward because I got, pretty pressed on time a little bit than I normally am. And I want to get to something real good here.
There's only a single ward that remains open and operational at the hospital. So the hospital lost $17 million last year alone and is down to a few million in cash reserve.
You heard that right. There's only one ward open at the hospital. They're losing money left and right because conservatives are gross and nasty and unhealthy motherfuckers. And so they have to go to the hospital more times than anyone else. You think the governor will say, okay, let me at least try to do things so I can at least try to save my own ass when I'm up for election. Have something I can put my thumb in. Yeah, that was me. Let's see.
Said Gary Marchand, the hospital's interim chief executive, we're going away, he said, it's happening. And expanding Medicaid would allow about 1.35 billion a year in federal funds to flow to the hospitals and healthcare providers in Mississippi. But people like Tate Reeves, no, can't have it, not interested in it. In fact, I want to jump ahead and go to what Tate Reeves has to say about all of this, including the refusal to accept the federal aid to expand Medicaid.
Recordings.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Can't see what the logo is anyway. But let me go ahead, drop that down, boom. No, you don't. No, you don't. There we go. Get that and get that back up. There you go. There's his face.
Frustrated and worried by the threats that some hospitals may close. I urge the legislature to think outside the box when it comes to improving Mississippi's healthcare system. Don't simply cave under the pressure of Democrats and their allies in the media who are pushing for the expansion of Obamacare, welfare, and socialized medicine. Instead, seek innovative free market solutions.
So as you can hear, he said, don't think outside the box. Think about inside the box. The pine ones. Because a lot of y'all are going to be in it. Because y'all don't have socialized medicine. I got socialized medicine. I can go to Walter Reed if I just have a hangnail. If I get a splinter, I can go to Walter Reed and have a literal army of doctors waiting on me hand and foot. I use my socialized medicine every day. I can have doctors come to my home, take care of me if I have a bad back. A whole host of doctors take care of me, left and right. Not just prescribe me medicine, but things that actually help my body. I have a team of doctors and nutritionists and everything like that paid for by the taxpayer. Socialized medicine. I have all of that. Now, y'all know you're worried about hospitals closing left and right, but I don't give a fuck about y'all. Die, I don't care. My family's gonna go to Walter Reed Medical Center if they have anything wrong with me. My 18th cousin, 500 times removed, can go to Walter Reed Medical Center. You can go there and have the literal fight for a spot at your local closing down, broken down, unfunded hospital. Hey, use some of that good old rural area hospital medicine. Go ahead and do that snake oil shit that you mixing up dog turds and ginger and think it's gonna actually help. Mix up those cow patties with some ginger root and some cactus oil and think that'll help you out. Think that'll help you out. I'm gonna take my socialized medicine. If you out there and you're conservative, bruh, look at this dude and ask him, if you want to get rid of socialized medicine, please do us a favor and get rid of yours first. Be my guest. Do it first. Don't go to Walter Reed. Stop paying, stop going to these hospitals and getting these, dietitians. Pay money out of your pocket for it. Same goes with your wife. Same goes with your daughter. Same goes with everyone in your family. He tell you to think outside the box and think about going to the pine ones, because you'll be dead. Again, that was going on was the fact of, you know, the free market. The free market says you can't make money without turning people down if they're not going to pay. Ask McDonald's if every customer can walk up there and just grab a burger without paying. How much, businesses will stay open? They'll say guarantee all of them will close. They got to pay. You got to turn down some customers not willing to pay. Hospitals can't do that. In Mississippi, that's why I say education is vitally important. Mississippi is one of the dumbest goddamn states out there in the country. Definitely those rural areas are even more uneducated. A lot of them don't have kindergarten grade levels. A lot of them probably can't, complete the ABCs. It ain't 1, 2, 3s. There's children out there just going to school, not geniuses, just going to school that are far beyond smarter than those rural area idiots. But anyway, let me finally get into the main crutch of this thing. Wakey, 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 it's 10 o'clock. Had to wake her up. I know you're snoring good over there. Yeah, you are. You're on camera snoring. As you always are. So, we're going to talk about the shooting that happened in Nashville. Now, we all know what's going on. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm mainly here for the reactions. That's why I came and boy, oh boy, found a certain somebody named Bosch. And he came in handy because this is the thing I wanted to deal with. As you can see, there you go. I'm on one side, he's going to be on. Hey there, Bosch. I would love to have that happen one day. Me actually talking with that man about an issue like this. Let's go, Bosch.
The New York Post. I mean, it's not too far off. No, it's really not. Like at all.
Let's get your logo out.
The media discourse right now is like absolutely dog. There's not very much to say. The positions are kind of obvious, right? The incredibly hot take of doing a school shooting is really bad, but using a trans person doing a school shooting as an excuse to continue to enact a genocidal regime of policies against them is also bad. Very hot take stuff like that.
I know, right?
I've been seeing a huge number of people saying this should be seen as a hate crime the same way the LGBT shooting should be seen. It's crazy. Well,
I don't know how it's a hate crime when you went and had a vendetta with people. Hate crimes normally are involved with, individuals you don't really have connections to whatsoever. They just random acts. And the only thing people have in common are maybe their race, their, gender, things like that. They're part of a religious group. Now everyone there happened to be a Christian because everyone's a Christian in one way or another. If you want to go with that, that really doesn't have anything to do with it. They were killed, and I have a picture of those individuals. I'm not going to share it here, but I won't do it on the, on social media. So if you're out there and you follow me on social media, you can. I'm available on YouTube, of course, I'm here. But I'm available also on Facebook and, of course, Twitter as well. You can find my Twitter page as well. Just, search my name. You'll see this mug and be able to know who and what I am. There you go. Right? Let's go ahead, Bosch. Let's keep going.
Without reading the manifesto, we don't know whether or not this was like a Christian targeted thing. That's one. And B, the person who shot them is dead. What hate crime charges are you trying to push against him? What are you trying to do there? What are you trying to get him for? the schizo liberals are calling you blamer for this. Yeah, it's like a Hitlerite position. The idea, like right now, the entire far, it's like trans people commit 1 out of 1 billion mass shootings, and the far right is like, that's it. All trans people, evil, violent, like full on like Nazi shit. The exact same shit.
Yeah, he's not lying. I mean, me and my fiance was just driving yesterday actually and listening in, and they're saying that now every trans person, period, in existence are all demons. Yes, demons. And I'm like, again, if you have to go to everyone's a demon, that actually means you're not a Christian as well, because last I checked, the devil cannot procreate, he cannot create. He can only reanimate. So if he can create people, what the heck is your God meant for? Because he can create, the devil can create. He's not that wonderful now, is he? Hey, everyone's God is the God of creation. Some of them is Satan, who could also create. That's, you gotta be careful.
The shit they did with like Der Stürmer, right? Back in Nazi Germany. Like Jews existed in Germany, and Jews, like any other group of people, commit crimes. And anytime a Jewish person committed a crime, front page across the cover, Jew does this, and it's like the same thing every time. They did this with Muslims after 9/11, but the idea that like in an environment where the far right is doing that, it's irresponsible to say that you should like remember to exercise your Second Amendment right to purchase firearms to defend yourself. Like that's insane, and it's an enabling of fascist ideology. The idea of like this minority community should not defend themselves because they are capable of committing crimes too is like.
And I've been on Twitter, by the way, actively on there right now, and they are literally saying that they're showing trans people arming themselves with guns, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be another shooter! Oh my God, there's a terrorist! Kill them all! They're terrorists!" Literally, they like that. They really are. I've been there. I'm literally on Twitter right now, and then they're literally losing their mind. They're trans people. Actually, it's literally only 2 people. Actually, by the way, one video of the person, showing off the magazine and slamming the damn magazine in place and showing off the gun. And there you go. You don't even see the person's face. It's a white trans person. They say it's trans. First of all, you can only say that because you can say it's trans. They say it's trans. You don't even know, really. If you were to remove the context from that video, you won't even know that's a trans person, because the face feature is not shown. The only thing you're showing is the midsection here, and they're in front of the camera showing off their guns. Conservatives do it all the time. There's plenty pictures out there with Lauren Boebert and her family taking Christmas photos. There's other, Christmas photos where you have 4, 5, 3, 2, 1-year-olds holding, strapped up holding a AR-15. And it's taking this, oh, look at the happy family, isn't it nice? But anywhere near brown or minority is, hey, that terrorists kill them. They have Second Amendment rights too, don't you think? Last I checked, they do. They have Second Amendment rights. What's wrong? What's wrong? The Second Amendment covers all people, including if you happen to be gay, lesbian, transgender, or queer. Last I checked and I looked, it didn't say you had to be a straight, white, cis man. I mean, last I checked, yeah, the whole white point, that wouldn't work for me, Yeah, I'm looking again. The white point wouldn't work for me. I'm looking at the screen. You can definitely tell I'm black. So, yeah, I know at the beginning it didn't include me, but a bunch of other white people in power eventually came around and said, well, yeah, we tried to use them as 1/3 of a human being, like 3/5 of a human being. That's what it was, 3/5. But we then said they 3/5 of a human being and you're only using them because they have population value to them, you might want to say the 3/5. And why am I 3/5 when I can do everything you can do? So if I'm 3/5, I'm at least half, and I'm more than half, and I'm a full whole human being. Because what makes me 3/5 of you? My skin tone. What I can do is as much as you do, if not better. Then what that make you? If I'm 3/5 and you can't do shit that I'm doing, then that make you, 1/10, 1/100, because you can't do anything that I do. You can't pick that cotton. You don't even know what cotton look like. You might get mixed up with some crazy ass goddamn herb and wind up getting your ass high off something, right?
Like a furthering of the fascist rhetoric against them, of the genocidal rhetoric. David Pacman's tweet got some curious responses. David Pacman, yeah, memeing too close to the sun is right. Holy shit, I couldn't believe it when I saw this. This was the most memeing close to the sun tweet I've ever seen in my life from Deepak. Very surprising there would be a mass shooting at a Christian school, given that lack of prayer is often blamed for these horrible events. Is it possible they weren't praying enough or correctly, despite being a Christian school?
Actually, that was taken out of context. He deleted it. I'm glad he actually did it because I'm going to start using that. By the way, my debates on Twitter. Thank you for doing so, Pacman. I'm going to do it because you need somebody who's man enough to own it, and I will. That's exactly it. That's the right take you're supposed to take. Again, don't forget my thoughts and prayers. We send all of our prayers. We send out prayers, our prayers, our prayers, our prayers, our prayers. There's families right now that keep getting prayers. This happened at a Christian school. How much prayer can you get to something that's actually meant for Christians? So if prayer really works and not actions, actions doesn't work, prayer works, then why is it that this prayer and all these prayers didn't stop this mass shooter from walking in and killing people? Maybe, just maybe, might need to put some action to it. I'm going to do something similar to that on my Twitter page. So, yeah, if you're out there and listening, yes, I do have one. I've been destroying Sneeko left and right so far on my Twitter page, talking about how his girlfriend keeps getting banged by other dudes and stuff like that, and calling him a clown and shit like that. So you out there, yeah, that's me. Let me go ahead and stop Bosh real quick. Oh no, I want to see if because he goes into a lot more crazy rhetoric, if I'm correct. If I'm correct. Yeah. Don't you dare. That's what you tried to do. You thought. There you go.
Same, yes. They did the same thing with the Muslims after 9/11, but I don't think the broad level of social threat against the Muslims was as high as it is right now with trans people. I think that there was a different culture back then when it came to
Muslims.
Like demographic persecution. You can Google Der Stürmer headlines, by the way. It's tons of shit like this.
Der Stürmer headlines
over and over and over and over again. With the overriding goal.
Is that not the same exact thing as conservative tweets? This is literally conservative Twitter, but it's old Tommy black and white. There's literally no difference, but the language. Literally no difference. Other than the language, what's the difference?
Being like, every piece of news that we can use to demonize Jews. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. just over and over and over again, you know? Bosch, can you understand I don't want this to have anything to do with trans people because of how the right will use it to attack trans people, which is why it's better to not focus on the potential trans thing. It's not potential. Like we know who the shooter was, and we know that they were a assigned female at birth and goes by he him. It's not a matter of like focusing. Like that is the narrative that will be taken away here. There's no not dealing with that,
Mhm.
you know? Like obviously you don't want to deal with this, and like of course you don't. Who would? But this is all happening, you know? Why did his suicide DM make me feel angry at him that I already did? Because he was so selfish about it. Because the messages that he sent before going off to do the shooting only said that he was going to be dead soon. They at the same time, please do keep in mind after the Club Q shooting where a far right lunatic killed 5 innocent queer people, Tucker Carlson immediately blamed the evil LGBTQ agenda. When queer people are killed, the far right says, shut up. When queer people are killed, the far right says it's your fault.
Exactly. I was about to say that. When queer people are killed, they say it's your fault. You shouldn't have been queer and you wouldn't have died. You know, that man was really a bigot. Already played a lot of things like what his dad said and how his dad was about, oh my God, he thought his son was at a gay nightclub and he thought his son was gay. And he said, oh, thank God he wasn't gay. And the reporter said he was there to kill people, but he was like, at least he wasn't gay. He didn't care if his son killed people. He cared that his son was at a gay nightclub and at least he wasn't gay. What's the take? Not, oh my God, I can't believe you. My son went there and murdered innocent people.
And when non-queer people are killed by a queer person, the far right will obviously say it's your fault. So even if there were a bunch of people on, so to be clear, if there were people on CNN right now who were saying, well, maybe, you know, like in response to these children being murdered, if they were screaming, well, maybe if you weren't being so transphobic, this wouldn't have happened, and that was the position they had, that would be as bad as what Tucker Carlson said. Like that would be monstrous. And also, it would be the same thing that he said. The only real difference would be that the transphobia that the CNN host is referring to in this hypothetical would be real, whereas the anti-white LGBTQ agenda that Tucker Carlson referred to isn't real. So I would say that it's actually not as bad as what Tucker Carlson said. Just keep that in mind. Shouldn't this link?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You keep trying to get through. You keep trying to get through. You keep trying to get through. Nope, can't allow you to do that. Get that popping back up, bam. You got a lot of advertising there, boss.
Here's a question: How could Audrey Hale have been left wing if he was wearing a red hat? Haven't seen that argument used yet. Copyright Vosh. Yeah, here's the Fox News article. By making this argument, you're essentially saying that murdering children is a natural reaction to transphobia. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't actually think it tracks. The closest argument that you could make that I think you could maybe defend with some degree of optical prayers. The second and more complex tragedy is that of Aiden or Audrey Hale, who felt he had no other effective way to be seen other than to lash out by taking the life of others. In fact, there's, by all the evidence that we have historically, it seems like it really was just some random guy. Germany literally got one.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and turn and exit that for you guys. But as you can see, they're making it only because it's trans, because only trans people kill people. You know, only trans people do it because they're evil demons. But like I said on my podcast, I came prepared for this. I'm finally going to show it. I'm just going to get to the point of this. I used this video before. And the main thing is just, definitely used this video before. And the main thing is just getting to the point where I'm at right now. So, this is conservative family values. You remember this video, Shark? I did it before, and I'm going to do it again. Because just like on the podcast online that I did, that's up right now, by the way. If you want to actually go ahead and take a listen to it, it's directly up right now. You can go right ahead. Of course, as usual, it's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, right? So, let's go ahead and take a listen, shall we? Because it jumps right into the part I want to talk about.
Like 16, 17-year-olds are like grown adults? Huh? Wild. Who could see that coming? Not shocking, unfortunate. That's the bad part about the Republicans, is that none of this is shocking. None of it is shocking. I'm telling you, it's so not shocking that someone decided to put together a list about it.
Exactly.
Someone decided to put together a freaking list. And it's clear that before we move on, I want to make sure. It's clear that Republican states are the ones that care less about these issues, that care less about abuse, that are more likely to allow adult men to marry literal children. But once again, I want to make sure that this isn't compartmentalized, that this isn't something that's just like one or the other. This isn't just like Republican pockets. Boy, let me tell you, I'm not joking when I say that this is the state of the Republican Party. This is who the Republicans are. This is how they decide to run their party, and they don't care. Like I said, somebody decided to put together a list of all of this type of stuff. Let's look at this in the daily costs. What is this? If you Google search CSA doers, CSA criminals, you will be hard pressed to find one example of an elected or well-known liberal who has abused children. But if you Google conservative CSA violators, you will find dozens. I've alphabeted an abridged list. Once again, this isn't even all of them. This is just an abridged list that someone decided to put together just to take a look at just a smidgen, just a handful, just a taste of what the conservatives have been up to and how a lot of them decide to treat children. We can just scroll through this like really quick. Republican Mayor Thomas Adams of Illinois charged with 11 counts of disseminating CP and 2 counts of possession of.
Oh, I'll go ahead. I see one there. Republican preacher Hewart Bennett arrested for soliciting sex from 16-year-old boy while claiming that he did so to gain their trust and then teach them the love of Jesus with his dick. Republican Christian Correlation Chair Lewis Burt, if I remember that, I'll say his name right. I don't know it. I don't care about his name. Investigated for molesting 3 family members as a teen. These are leaders, group leaders. These are politicians, a hell of a lot of politicians. Don't worry. I know you're saying, I don't hear names that I know. Oh, I know you know one name, maybe 2. I'll definitely bring it up. And let's not forget that this happened definitely a while ago, so it's not going to have Matt Gaetz, who, by the way, still to this day, did not refute the fact that he had sex with a 17-year-old girl. He refuted the fact that he was paying for her travel. That's it. He's trying to split hairs so you don't say that he wasn't having sex with 17-year-old girls, because he was.
CP. Oh, nice. Cliff Bennett, 18, son of Arizona Republican State Senator Ken Bennett, pleaded guilty to assaulting 3 boys. Huh. Wild. In 11 to 15 bookmarks of their
Republican judge and Nixon Supreme Court nominee Harold Carswell, that's his name with S, charged with making a pass at a undercover male cop in a public bathroom. You know, I mean, I think the quartering said it all the time. You know, if they're not interested in, male cock, they're interested in trans cock, or just cock in general. He wasn't lying. A lot of people, the right wing conservatives are just gay and they just afraid to say it. Republican County Councilman Kulola Childs plead guilty to molesting a male child. He thought he can get away with his name being Childs, but you're a grown man. Can't do that.
Rectal areas he had 11 to 15 bookmarks of their buttholes that he kept. Republican Councilman John Collins pleads guilty to CSA to 13 to 14-year-old girls. Huh.
Republican advertising consultant Curly, I think his name is that, Curly Lee Kramer, who appeared in an advertisement blasting Al Gore, convicted of molesting 9-year-old girl. Convicted of molesting 9-year-old girl. Convicted.
Family values, it seems. Right? Republican benefactor for conservative Christian groups was charged with assault and allegedly paying a 15-year-old girl for sex. Huh? Wild.
Oh, that's why I'm gonna say it again. Republican director of the Young Republican Federation, Nicholas, whatever his name is, molested his 6-year-old daughter and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Republican Constable Larry Floyd of Denton arrested on suspicion of soliciting sex from an 8-year-old girl. Republican councilman and former Marine Jack Gardner was convicted of molesting a 13-year-old girl. Why are they so fixated with children, but it's only those, gay, lesbian, and transgender individuals?
Wild, and it's still going, just so you know. You know what? While the credits roll, for how and you can just read through, you can pause if you're watching this, you can pause at any point in time. You can read all these, you can look them up. They're real.
They're real.
They're real. And while the credits scroll, I just want to talk about something really quick. When it comes to a lot of how conservative households roll and power, okay, most of the people who were mentioned.
You just don't want to.
No, you want me to get flash the camera?
Is now not looking at you. That's what I was trying to say. Your mom.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, girl. Yeah, dizzy girl. Call your mom back. Worried about things. I'm like, man, I made sure that you weren't. I know he's like, damn, what the hell's going on there? Well, she was trying to make sure that she can get up, but just trying to go to sleep. Let me go take a piss while I'm at it.
Oh, not.
What?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, okay, that's good.
What, she was trying to,
She was outside.
Oh, that was nice of her. I mean, I'm still here to take you to work and pick you up. I didn't know that. That's been always a problem. That's the camera. Because, I mean, hey, if you want, you can take you. So, yes, there you go. Republican Pastor Mike Haynes, whom.
And she called back, just tell her to pick me up.
Yeah. Whom George Bush commended during the 2004 presidential campaign, surrendered to police admitting. Oh, that was your mom. Oh, she left a voicemail. After admitting to a sexual affair with a female juvenile. Right?
On Jeffrey Epstein's flights, most of the people who are truly indicted for abusing children are not people who are left-wing. The people who allow children to be themselves, to allow them to have freedom, to allow them to be able to talk to people, to not have that authority.
Oh, there you go. Republican Committee Chairman Jeffrey Patty was arrested for distributing a video clip of a 5-year-old girl being raped.
Authoritarian rule, like one person or two people control everything about this.
Yes. Republican Boy Scout leader and zoning supervisor Dennis Rader pleaded guilty for performing a sexual act on a 11-year-old girl he murdered. You see, I do that for that one reason. You know, I do that for that one reason. To try to make sure that you understand that the true, you know, devils and demons are all in the Republican Party.
Kid's life until they turn 18 and are able to be like a legal adult. And once again, just so you know, the credits are still rolling.
Yep.
That environment that Republicans would like to put.
Republican Senator Rick Man on Dog Santorum and his wife forced their 3 children, all under the age of 6, to play with a dead fetus in their crib. But let's not forget that those children are worth saving, right? We gonna allow you to play with a dead fetus.
Put a lot of kids in is rife with abuse.
Okay, for people out there who say I still don't hear. I mean, I know Rick Santorum, you know that's a name, but you know, hey, that's one tree. You only got one name. You know, there's no other people out there. Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger allegedly had sex with a 16-year-old girl. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I can Google that name and a lot will pop up about that individual. I'm about to finish, I know. All that just to lead to the last thing I have here. A little bit more just to rub in on the whole thing dealing with this whole gun debate and conservative thing and transgender. It's all bullshit. Just to show that these individuals is nothing more but living hypocrisy. Living hypocrisy. Jimmy Raskins, the person job I want to take.
Embrace what's called the insurrectionist theory of the Second Amendment. Our colleague, Mr. Gates, says the Second Amendment is, quote,
about maintaining within the citizenry the ability to maintain an armed rebellion against the government if that becomes necessary.
Our colleague Chip Roy says the Second Amendment was designed purposefully to empower the people
to be able to resist the force of tyranny used against them to step over their natural rights given to them by God.
Congresswoman Boebert says the Second Amendment, quote,
it has nothing to do with hunting, unless you're talking about hunting tyrants, maybe.
well, this theory is completely debunked and destroyed by the text of the Constitution itself and by Supreme Court precedent. And yet their theory of the Second Amendment is killing Americans. The stabilizing braces have evolved significantly from their original intended use, which was allowing disabled gun users to fire an AR-style pistol. Today's braces are largely used to exploit a loophole in the regulatory structure to allow owners to turn their weapons into short-barreled rifles.
Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about.
You see that man outside?
Why would I know where the other side when I wasn't looking down at the time? What's that over there in your foot?
No, that's on the side.
That's the right side. Let me see what you put that side there. That's definitely it. But let's let them continue.
Efficient weapons of war without triggering traditional ATF oversight of this kind of weapon. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of the people who use these so-called wrist stabilizer braces. Please play the video if you would.
We're here to talk about SB Tactical and their stabilizing braces. 4 pistols.
The end here, which is a rubber type of configuration. It's adjustable. If you want to run your arm through it and do so, you can, and tighten it down to your forearm, which of course is what the braces were originally intended for.
It does help some people, right? So you can slide your arm through that and undo it and all that stuff. But we all know what these are actually used for, and nobody is wondering about that.
And we're going to just see, like, does it really feel like a stock, even though it's not a stock?
Now you've got a very shorty boy, right? So you can put this guy obviously in a briefcase if you wanted to, in a backpack.
Why are short-barreled rifles more dangerous and strictly regulated?
In a briefcase, in a backpack. You want to go and shoot up your local school? There you go. Let's be real. You want to go shoot up your local school? Here you go. That's how I do it.
Than other kinds of firearms.
Short-barreled rifles are more easily concealable than long-barreled rifles, but have more destructive power than traditional handguns. For example, common ballistic vests worn by police protect against handgun ammunition, while rifle ammunition, like those fired by short-barreled rifles, can penetrate it.
And what's the difference between a short-barreled rifle and a firearm with a stabilizing brace, as we saw brandished in the video there, and as we see on the poster behind me?
When it comes to usability, I think next to none.
Next to none.
There really is no difference in the power and potential violence of the weapon, and there's very little difference in the weapon's design. Look, our colleagues know that gun violence is the leading cause of death among children in the United States of America today. They know that more people proportionately die of gun violence in America than in any other industrialized country on earth, whether we're talking about Canada or Germany or France, United Kingdom, Japan, Israel, you name it. They know that the states with the highest rates of firearm deaths are the ones with the weakest gun laws, and the states with the lowest levels of firearm deaths have the strongest gun laws. But they say that all of this chaos and destruction is just the necessary price we have to pay because of the Second Amendment. All those thousands of people gunned down at church, in school, at the Walmart, in parks and grocery stores are just the human sacrifice we've decided to pay as a society for our Second Amendment. My colleagues, this is a lie. Our colleagues advance a completely flawed theory of the Second Amendment, which leads them to oppose even reasonable common sense gun safety rules that the Supreme Court has approved and which the vast majority of Americans endorse.
Just want to leave you guys with that. Can't get any more of unveiling the hypocrisy than that. Time me to take that go to work. So this is going to be where I end the podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast. Don't forget to give me a 5-star rating. Definitely do that. Get to share the podcast as well right here on YouTube, and the podcast that's in the links on my YouTube page. Give me a 5-star rating. Go ahead and like and comment and all that good stuff. My link to my support is available there on the podcast. Available on the Spotify and all that good stuff. Do the whole sharing thing. Really beneficial. It really helps out. Anyway, this is going to be going in the podcast, guys. don't forget to keep a lookout for the WrestleMania predictions one. There's going to be the live one as well. We're going to be doing it either tomorrow or definitely Saturday anyway. Definitely well before, the whole showcase anyway. Anyways, later, guys.